Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of BNA Sports Talk. So today, what I'm going to do is review a horrible mock draft and do some other Giants discussion. So let's get right into it. The Goat House is a great channel. He has 60,000, 70,000 subscribers. He comes out with mock drafts. He does in-depth analysis. But sometimes it just pisses me off. It feels like some of his takes are just like either to be controversial or just kind of like a randomly generated take, and he tries to rationalize it per se. Like, He went through a mock draft. First of all, he had like Kyle Pitts at 5. It would be interesting to have Kyle Pitts at 5. I forget exactly what position he went. It would be interesting. I think he's going to fall a little bit, though. You know, Pat's teams like the Panthers and teams like the Cowboys and the Broncos. I think he will probably be their number 11, but that's not the point. He has the Giants taking Trey Lance. Do you know what that means for the Giants? It basically means, okay, Dave Gettleman, if he drafts Trey Lance, I hope you know that means Dave Gettleman's fired the very next day. And Dave Gettleman's the one making the pick. So why would he shoot himself in the foot? Daniel Jones is the guy we're surrounding ourselves with. Now, if you're saying, okay, the Giants are going to trade for Deshaun Watson, which we've confirmed that we're not doing, that'd be interesting. Because you're like, okay, you're going to get a generational guy. So you're going to take another developmental guy? It just doesn't make sense. Like, it makes zero sense whatsoever. The only quarterback I'm taking at number 11 is Trevor Lawrence. I would take him if he falls all the way down there. The chances of that happening are negative 0.5. Unless, like, Trevor Lawrence, like, shoots somebody and, like, commits murder. No way he's dropping past 1. I don't care. And some of my other draft pet peeves, when ESPN First Take starts mentioning what are the Jaguars getting in Trevor Lawrence, or when people start speculating, what can the Texans actually trade Trevor Lawrence for Deshaun Watson? Is that like a possible thing? And then people are like understanding it. Yeah, I'd do it. They're in division. It's not going to happen. It's just not. What do we think this is? And also another pet peeve, I made a video about it. Justin Fields at number 4. The Giants drafted Daniel Jones after the first year of our regime. That was Pat Shermer. He realized it probably is time to transition from Eli Manning. He's getting kind of old. Even though it's not 100% his fault, some of the blame does go on Eli Manning. I think we all realize that. We're kind of just rationalizing it. Some of us Giants fans were like, Eli Manning could still do it. But we kind of knew the writing was on the wall. But all those messages coming in. Draft a cornerback at number 4. Trade back with a team like the Panthers. It just makes way more sense. You have so much more roster spots to fill than quarterback. It's not like you're a team ripened to win and all you need is a quarterback that you need to develop. No, there's a lot of holes on that team. The offensive line's getting better. I made a whole video about it. Also, another money draft takes, I'm starting to adjust my opinion about Ja'Marr Chase. And he's a good route runner, but he doesn't get that separation that I would really like. Now, not a lot of guys in college get a lot of separation, but he does have that somewhat of breakaway speed after he catches the ball. He does have those juke moves. He might be wide receiver 2 for me. I'm starting to have Jalen Waddle as my wide receiver 1, which would be great if he falls down to us. And in that mock draft, by the way, guess who fell down to us? Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith. So not only did we draft Trey Lance, we missed out on 2 wide receivers to surround him and be successful. But he did make up for it. He did draft Jason Oweh in the second round, which I really like. He's pretty raw. He seems a little bit lost sometimes when he's rushing. Like, he doesn't really have a plan. He's kind of just like, I'm Jason Oweh, kind of like what Chase Young is at some points. But I think he could be a good developmental guy. I wouldn't mind Micah Parsons at number 11, but Trey Lance, man. I probably will have a ranking about players that I want, including Rashad Bateman. I'm starting to really like this guy. I think he has... Okay, he's like a little bit inexpensive version of Jalen Waddle. So if Jalen Waddle doesn't fall down to us, I don't love the value at number 11 for Rashad Bateman. I really don't. Like, I think he's probably valued number 15 to 20. But, like, Rashad, if we go dip our foot in the Minnesota bucket again, we did draft, remember, Chris Williamson last year and a Carter Coughlin. So we do have our eyes on Minnesota. We do have our eyes on, like, Georgia and stuff. It seems like we pick from the same schools over and over. Again, obviously we're not picking from the Alabama bucket every single year, but Alabama is a team as well that we feel like we pick through a lot. So we have scouts in those areas. I think somebody will put in a good name for Rashad Bateman. Now, what I like about him is he's a great round runner, really good against press, so he can get off the line of scrimmage really well, something Darius Slayton struggles a little bit with. He can go up and get it. He's a very athletic guy. He's just, remember Tyler Johnson? I think he's just a better polished version of Tyler Johnson. Can jump up, get those 50-50 balls, has really good speed. Not as good as Jalen Waddle, but it's like right there. Jalen Waddle may have like that edge that will break one more tackle, that will pass through that guy on the sideline, that will make him be able to get, 1 or 2 more touchdowns throughout the entire season. But I kind of like Rashad Bateman. I don't know. I want you guys to let me know what you think. What are your opinions about Rashad Bateman. And so next thing is Leonard Williams. Apparently, he is pretty close to a contract with the Giants. Now, I'm going to go predict his contract because let's say it's going to happen. I think a couple years ago, we know the whole thing with Jerry Reese. He's trying to save his job. I hope that doesn't happen this year. Good thing we don't have a lot of money. But I think this has to be a 5-year contract. $100 million. I don't think he's as good as DeMarcus Lawrence, but that's kind of like the market. 5 years, $100 million. Kind of backload it. Now, the problem with backloading contracts is you have to pay for it eventually. But the thing is, in 3 years, who are you paying? Saquon Barkley, maybe? Daniel Jones? The James Bradbury's contract expires. Blake Martinez. So we can make moves in a couple years that will be fairly good for us. We don't have this big contract. So you basically take this year, say, hey, we're going to pay you a base salary like $10 million, and then just backload the hell out of it. Leonard Williams does offer some things that I think the Giants could want. You know, he's that guy that takes up double teams, and especially if you drop Jason away in the second round, then we're talking. Dalvin Tomlinson, we'll get a third-round comp for him next year. What do you want from me? That's what we spent for the Leonard Williams trade, a third and a fifth, or a third and a fourth. No, a third and a fourth, because we're signing him to a long-term deal, I think. Yeah, so Dalvin Thomas, I think he's as good as gone. I like him. I like his leadership qualities. Apparently, the cap is going to be a minimum 180, which means we're going to have a minimum of $2 million to spend. But there's always backloading contracts. There's always things you can do with the cap. But I'm starting to lean towards Leonard Williams, keeping him 5 years, $100 million. Make that big splash, because we haven't really had that big splash contract, if you think about it, under Dave Gettleman. It's been a lot of 4-year, $10 million per year contracts. And, the kind of the last thing I want to talk about is what we're going to do on the offensive line, because my opinion is kind of shifting on this. Joe Thuney, I think I really wanted him in the beginning because I like that Joe Judge connection, but I think all he wants is his money. That's why he hasn't been able to negotiate with the Patriots. He's like, I just want to get paid. I don't care about like relationships. I want to get paid. So there's going to be a Bengals. I saw the Jets. They're just going to overpay. A team with a bad offensive line is just going to overpay. So I think we're out of the Joe Thuney market. I'm going to make a whole video with like one player in each position the Giants should sign. Realistically, I'm not going to say we're going to sign a linebacker to another. We're going to sign Levante David to a $15 million deal, because that wouldn't make sense. I would like to have Levante David, but we're at Blake Martinez. But yeah, so the rest of the offensive line, I'm starting to think that we should just go round 2 offensive guard. I'm leaning wide receiver 1, offensive guard / edge 2 if Jason Away falls down to us. If it's not Jason Away, I don't really like any prospects. And round 3, I do like the Trey Smith, Ben Cleveland deal. A big guy right up the middle. The thing is, last year we based our entire offense around Saquon Barkley to begin the year. That's why we struggled, because we had all these plans, and then it's COVID. You can't really adapt that well. And then it just kind of sucked for the rest of the season, because we didn't really have a great wide receiver talent. You had Evan Ingram dropping a ball every single week with picks and stuff. And yeah, so as far as the offensive line, how the relates to the offensive line is, Will Hernandez is better in the run. And Will Hernandez is better in the pass. And, when we asked him to swing, he wasn't that good. So now we have a little bit of a guard problem. I'd look to solve that in the second round. I wouldn't mind grabbing a guard in the second round, because there might be a guy, Creed Humphrey, Landon Dickerson, that could play that guard, or maybe in the third round. I think we can't be complacent on this offensive line, because if you are, the thing about Daniel Jones is, this is the last point I'll make, he was one of the best quarterbacks. He was better than Eli Manning in his 2011 season, his best season, with a clean pocket, like Aaron Rodgers is, but good with a clean pocket. Now that Aaron Rodgers is bad with a clean pocket, but he had like a 40 PFF passer rating, so you can't create out of structure. So you have to protect him. You have to give him a run game. And this year we should go all in on it. I don't want a CB2 at pick number 11, because that's just a wasted pick. What does that do? We have some developmental guys. We put in Isaac Yiadom, and all of a sudden he looked great. But we didn't put in a wide receiver. We dropped that number, the 7th round, and they didn't look great. I mean, Darius Slayton, he didn't really fit the bill. And so quarterback value later in the rounds will be fine. I don't really care. Fill it. But we have to fill the offensive line, because Daniel Jones struggles with that stuff. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.